Tammy and I were talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
Now, you just heard that correctly. You just heard the New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy, as he stated how he and his wife talked about harboring an illegal immigrant at their home, and they would dare the feds to come in and do anything about it. Now, the purpose of this video is not about the New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy. No. It's about a whole nother situation that just broke wide in the last 48 hours that involves a judge. So in this video, these clips that I'm going to show you will blow your mind. But as you just heard Governor Phil Murphy say how he and his wife would be willing to allegedly harbor an illegal immigrant, I'm going to show you what happened with the backlash that came at him after that. Then right after this video clip, I'm going to get into this next story that will totally show you how far these Democrats are willing to go. And we're not just talking about Democrat politicians. Even though a judge is a politician, many people don't look at him like that. But it's not just these Democrat left-wing extremists. Now we got these activist judges who have gone beyond the bar, beyond the bench, as far as them thinking about what type of power they hold. And like I say, if you were confused or weren't quite sure which side of history the Democrat Party or these Democrat activists are going to be on, this video will put that to bed. But let me show you the backlash that governor of New Jersey faced, and then I'll get into the breaking story of the federal judge and what he did that is so disgusting with illegal immigrants. Check out this story about the backlash for the governor of New Jersey.
Governor Murphy is sparking outrage after suggesting he's housing an undocumented immigrant at his home in Middletown. The comments came up over the weekend while the governor was speaking at a forum. Murphy was asked how his administration will respond to executive orders from the White House and then about protecting transgender residents. Unprompted, the governor relayed a conversation he had with First Lady Tammy Murphy about someone they know whose, quote, immigration status is not yet at the point they're trying to get it to, and suggested having her live above their garage, daring federal immigration agents to come in and get her. Conservative media outlets and officials pounced on the comments, criticizing Murphy for acting above the law. But a spokesperson for the governor's office says the remarks were misinterpreted. The Murphys never actually asked the woman to move in, adding she's in the U.S. legally but was worried about her future. The ordeal comes as the Trump administration has vowed mass deportations of undocumented immigrants and threatened to punish officials who interfere. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, last night said he'll seek prosecution if it's true.
So, as you heard in the beginning of the video, the New Jersey governor stated that he and his wife discussed harboring an illegal immigrant over their house, in the garage, in the room over their garage at their house. It would dare the FBI ICE to come and get her. Faced tremendous backlash, and they love to say, oh, it's from conservative outlets. No, it was from the voters in New Jersey who were saying, dude, so you just gonna flat out just break the law and then try to hold everybody else accountable? That was that. And as you saw, he tried to walk it back. Now in New Mexico, here's the story of today. New Mexico judge resigns after an alleged gang member arrested on his property. You heard it right. A federal judge had illegal immigrants living on his property and may even have been dating his daughter and handling firearms. Check this story out. Let's get into this. So an alleged Venezuelan gang member is facing federal charges after being arrested in Dona Ana County. According to court documents, the defendant, Christian Ortega Lopez, was living on Dona Ana County Magistrate Judge Joel Cano's property. A judge is supposed to avoid any appearance of any kind of impropriety, said KOAT legal expert John Day. So you have a situation here, and the question is going to be, what did the judge know and when did he know it? How much do you know about the background of the defendant? On February the 28th, Homeland Security Investigations Las Cruces conducted a search warrant on Cano's property. Officials said they received a tip that Ortega Lopez was in the United States illegally, was allegedly a member of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Agua, and was in possession of a firearm. So you got this judge housing a Tren de Agua gang member that's in possession of firearms even though the federal law labeled them domestic terrorists and has rules for them to be deported. A judge is harboring. Now, do we have any wonder why these injunctions keep flying? And the Supreme Court has now limited it where, okay, judges, you can only rule on or put injunctions on things happening in your district, in your jurisdiction. So now you got them blocking stuff from Colorado, New York, coming from all over the place. That's because they're activist left-wing extremists who side more with illegal immigrants than they do the American people. I've never seen the Democrat Party go this hard for an American citizen ever. The only time I've seen the Democrats even show this much attention to an American citizen is in their obsession with Donald J. Trump. That's it. So imagine all the attention they've shown to Trump in a negative way. Flip that, and that's how much positive attention they're giving to illegal woman-beating gangbangers that are in the country illegally. But I'll keep going. During the search, Ortega Lopez and his roommates were taken into custody. He was federally charged with being in the country illegally and for having a firearm. So you got a judge arming an illegal immigrant gang member. If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid. You hit that like button, because I'll never ask you for a cash app or a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it really does help the channel. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And once you do, make sure you turn on the notifications. And when you hit the bell, select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Man, on March 14th, officials were going to allow Ortega Lopez to be released. However, prosecutors appealed that, bringing more evidence against him. So then you got a court that we're getting ready to let this person out. And we already know New Mexico is left wing, but it's changing. They said, look, judge, we want you to put him back in custody because we have information that we didn't have the first time around that links him to this TDA, Tren de Agua gang, the violent Venezuela gang, said they. And I'll read this part, then I'll get into the video. Let me get this out there. During his post-Miranda interview, Ortega Lopez said he entered the U.S. illegally by climbing over a barbed wire fence in Texas in December of 2023. In the criminal complaint, it said he was released pending removal proceedings because of overcrowding. You think this individual would ever show back up to court? According to court documents, Ortega Lopez met Cano's wife after getting a job to install a glass door for her. It goes on to say, in April of 2024, the wife offered him to stay in their casita behind their home after he was evicted from his apartment in El Paso. Ortega Lopez added he was introduced to Cano's daughter, and according to officials, she allowed him to hold and sometimes shoot various firearms. He's facing a lot of time in federal prison, and he's also facing the potential of removal of deportation by the federal government, said they. Shortly after his arrest, Judge Cano sent in his resignation letter on March the 3rd. He already knew it was coming. 2 days later, the Judicial Standards Commission petitioned for the Supreme Court to suspend Cano. They alleged Cano allowed 3 known gang members to live on his property and allowed them access to guns. Cano's last day was March 21st. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court ordered that Cano can never hold or become a candidate for any New Mexico judicial office in the future. Cano and his family have not been charged with any wrongdoing. The FBI cannot confirm whether they are investigating his family. So you got this judge who destroyed his career and his family's life over an illegal Tren de Agua gang. What is going on with these Democrats? So I'm going to play this video, then I'll come back with some commentary of my own.
Gang member facing federal charges after he was arrested in Doña County. Reporter Alyssa Munoz is here with court documents showing this man was living on a judge's property.
Doug, that's right. This is a picture of the pair from court documents. Now, shortly after Lopez's arrest, Judge Cano resigned. And 2 days later, the Judicial Standards Commission petitioned for the Supreme Court to suspend Judge Cano.
A judge is supposed to avoid any appearance of any kind of impropriety. And so you have a situation here where the question is going to be, what did the judge know and when did he know it? How much did he know about the background of the defendant?
In late February, Homeland Security investigations arrested Christian Ortega Lopez for being in the United States illegally since December of 2023 and for possessing a firearm. Originally, officials were going to release him on conditions, but the government appealed that, bringing more evidence against him.
They said, look, Judge, we want you to put him back in custody because we have information that we didn't have the first time around that links him to this TDA gang, violent Venezuelan gang.
According to court documents, Lopez was staying in Las Cruces in a casita behind Judge Cano's house. In his post-Miranda interview, Lopez says he met Cano's wife after doing jobs for her. In the documents, it says she offered him to stay on their property after he was evicted. He adds he was also introduced to Cano's daughter, who, according to officials, allowed him to hold and sometimes shoot her firearms.
He's facing a lot of time in a federal prison, and he's also facing the potential of removal of deportation by the federal government.
In the March 5th petition filed by the Judicial Standard Commission, they alleged Cano allowed 3 known gang members to live on his property and allowed them access to guns. Cano resigned on March 3rd, and his last day was March 21st. Reporting, Melissa Munoz, KBT Action 7 News.
The judge, his wife and daughter have not been charged.
Now, can you imagine that we got judges now harboring, and there's a word allegedly that even the mayor of Denver may be, looking at something. They say he may have been housing or, putting up people in a stash house. We know that allegedly Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was actually helping hide illegal immigrants, even had one on her payroll, paying them $80,000 a year using a fake Social Security number, and helped get him out of the country without being deported. But I believe, and this is all alleged, that they were able to track him down and he was able to give information, and they're just waiting because people say, well, when is the hammer going to come down? Look at what Trump is trying to do in the economy, and you got the left-wing extreme media attacking him every day, fear-mongering, telling people, oh, he's going to crash the economy, as if Joe Biden didn't do that, right? And everything he's doing is trying to fix what's wrong, but they're trying to put all of the economy on him. And you know that you make the lie big enough and you push it long enough, ignorant people tend to believe it. And so, if Trump would have came in and would have been taking these people to task and been going after these people, they would have easily said, oh, he's more focused on revenge than he is on his promises, and it would have skewed the public trust. Right now, Trump has a high approval rating because he's sticking to the script. But these Democrats are making it extremely easy, like Letitia James. That wasn't Trump that came out with her having mortgage fraud and insurance fraud. That was an independent fraud guy who found it and submitted it over, and they found, hey, there's them there, and they submitted it for criminal referral. And you got Fonnie Willis, who was busted, robbing the government of taxpayer money with her lover, Nathan Wade. I mean, you got more and more things that are just, you got Bob Menendez out in New Jersey, busted for bribery, was sentenced to 16 years. And that's Phil Murphy's boy, the governor of New Jersey. All these Democrat extremist libtards, they might not hang out every day, but they stick close together through their skullduggery. One thing about the Republicans, they all try to maintain such a standard that they don't hide each other's skullduggery. You have somebody that'll try to expose it, and it looks like a lack of unity when in reality, on the Republican side, is democracy at its best, where people can disagree, everybody not just get on the same side just to do it. The Democrats, they'll know something is wrong. It's like all of them right now fighting for Abrego Garcia. All those Democrats don't believe that, but you have to walk lock and step or else you'll get canceled or you'll get primaried. And right now, looks like the younger generation, the progressive, the super extreme of the party is about to primary all of those older Democrats anyway, which is great because they're so extreme that their youth and their extremism will turn off most of the country. Yeah, it'll be attractive to a small circle of the blue-haired, nose-ring crowd that's just looking for people to hate and that just want violence. It'll appeal to them, but to the majority, never. So, that's the one good thing we got going. But right now we got judges hiding people. So I just wanted to bring you that story because the left-wing mainstream media is not covering this story, but we are. So if you watched this far, thank you so much. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, tell me what you think. But most importantly, make sure that you be safe, you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.